What is my YouTube channel? Okay, edutainment.
You don't remember your YouTube channel?
Okay.
Good.
Yes, welcome back everyone to edutainment. Yo, it's been long. Not being with you. Yo, I think everyone just thought this guy is nowhere to be found and he will never come back. But anyway, been looking for good stuff. And the good stuff is here today. I'm with one of my brothers from DRC.
That's too far. That's very far.
Central Africa. And we used to do only music videos. And now, like, I think we need to do something because I've got this great man from DRC. So I'm like, let's just hear what he has for us, edutainment. Can you please introduce yourself before we start?
Okay, part of who I am, you've just said it.
Yeah.
I'm from DRC.
Yeah.
I'm Jean. That's a French name.
Ja.
I'm from DRC, in a place called Bukavu. That is the eastern part of Congo, South Kivu province. So I'm single. And I don't have kids.
No kid. Single.
Yes.
Okay. Talk about that later. Good. Yeah. So I think, John. So today we just decided to talk about something which is a bit serious. So I like to talk about music. So my idea has been to change the world through music.
Okay.
But this time I don't think I can only do that only because I've got great thinkers who can sing. I don't know if they can sing.
No, I mean, I can't.
Yes.
Sure.
So
Definitely
yeah. So like I think today we just need to talk about other things beside music, outside music. So I just thought let's talk about poverty in Africa, which is something I think almost most African people are familiar with, because it's a real issue. Without singing about poverty, anyway, I think so many songs have been written about poverty. What do you think is the reason Africa or so many Africans are poor? I mean, I don't know if many DRCians, I don't know how do you call them, are poor, because I'm from Zim. We are poor. I've been in SA. I've seen a lot of poverty, and I don't know in DRC. Maybe you can give us a landscape of DRC in relation to poverty.
Yeah. So starting by there, I think everyone knows that DRC is this incredible country with so much natural resources. So I think everything you can find it there, and the great paradox of actually is to find so much natural resources, but among the poorest countries in the world. That have been a paradox. I'm used to poverty. I'm actually coming from a poor family, a very poor family, by the way. So I've known poverty, and so when you invite me to talk about poverty, I think it's an exciting topic to discuss about, and I feel like I'm not very comfortable discussing about it because I'm still poor, I think.
Even I,
So I don't have, in a very materialistic sense, I don't think if I've made it. So I'm feeling like I'm not really qualified to talk about poverty in Africa because I'm still making my way out of it. I hope that someday I'll be able to make my way fully out of it, but up until now I think I'm still struggling. But that being said, I think I am very optimistic, about Africa, because we have seen Africans, we have seen much progress. I mean, compare the Africa of the 90s and the Africa we know today. The continent has incredibly changed, and this gives me much reasons to hope. I think Africa have become much more peaceful, which is good. I think many African countries have been in war in the later 90s. Earlier 20s, so we've got this massive war around the continent, and we've got people dying, literally dying, because they couldn't afford to have food or shelter or basic needs. So hopefully we've seen that improving and improving much more quicker. And so I think we have reasons to be hopeful. That being said, I think okay, and I think this is where we need to be cautious when we talk about poverty in Africa. So there's on a very macroeconomic level, I think, so we have good reasons to be hopeful because Africa is the fastest growing economy in the world. 6, I think, of the 10 most dynamic economics are in Africa, which shows that, the continent is really, really making good progress and very reasons to be hopeful about that. But the fact is that on a very micro level, on a very household level, I think, many people are still struggling, and I think that's where more work needs to be done to make sure that the majority is lifted up out of that cycle of poverty. Because what we have now is that there is economic growth, but I think is not as much inclusive as we would like it to be.
Yeah, and so I think, like as we alluded, that I think it's good that we need to focus on like an individual kind of level to start this debate, because I think it's really hard to start talking about structural adjustment systems, because those are big things that we can change them, but it takes time.
Sure.
But I think it's always quick to change things on a personal kind of level.
Sure.
I think maybe like, let's think of, because I'm like thinking of somebody, let's say we've got this sister of ours. She's in a township with 2 kids. The father is I don't know if you've got this, our educational system, we call like grade 1 to grade 7. Like the father is like a grade 7 dropout. Like he didn't finish grade 7. Like when he was about to finish, he just left school and migrated to certain country, maybe to just look for greener pastures, and he never turned back to look after his kids. So this sister of ours is also like is in big trouble because she is now with 2 kids, single mother. She's a single mother, not married. And you can see that there are possibility of that poverty cycle coming back to the kids, because like already they are fatherless. The mom is not well educated. She's in a township. The father left. Like what can you say to our sister?
Okay, I think, and I think we need to be careful here, because when you're speaking about Africa, we are speaking about the continent. It's not a country. It's a mix of so many countries, and that means different contexts, different realities, and so on. So, that being said, I think I do believe in the power of individuals to choose. We've already talked about the progress Africa is making, but policies won't just include everyone. I think there is where policies are being made, and there is personal effort to be put into to make sure that that you do the other half of the road. I mean, politicians, government is trying to do one side, and you have to make some effort to reach the other side. And I think this starts by yourself. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a victim? As a powerless individual? As someone who has no resources? Or do you see yourself as a human being with potential? A human being with, as being a Christian who is created in the image of God. And I think being created in the image of God is a very powerful concept, because it means a lot of things. One of those things is, for example, because I am created in the image of God, I can create, right? So that's powerful. It starts by there. It starts by believing
That you can do things.
that I am not the victim of my circumstances. I am not what the society, what my upbringing have made me to be. I am an individual created in the image of God with the potential to do something. I think that's the first thing to realize, that I'm not a victim. I can do something. And then after you've realized that, after you've internalized that I can do something, you then wake up, go out, and start doing something. This is the first thing. So unless we change the way we think about ourselves, unless we change the way we view ourselves, we can't change our situation.
Okay.
We cannot change our circumstances. So I think that's the starting point. How do I see myself?
Yeah.
Am I seeing myself as a victim?
Yeah, you just
Or
see
am I seeing myself as someone who has potential, who can do something?
to change. Yeah, that I think that sinks deep. So, like, practically, how would that look like in application? Let's say we are talking to our sister, she's listening, and she'll be like, Sharon, like, what do I do? Because, like, I've got 2 kids, they need food, and I still think they still need to go to school.
Yes.
Like, what do I do? Do I look for a job? Do I start a business? Do I go beg? Like, cause like somebody like, I can go out and then start asking for food. That would be doing something.
Okay,
what practically advice would you give to our sister?
Okay, that's a very hard question, and I don't think if I have the right answer. But I think that more than any other, I've already said that it starts by seeing yourself.
Yes,
You're not a victim.
Yeah.
Believe that deep down.
Yeah.
Then secondly, believe in what is possible out there. Go out. And the first idea that comes into your mind, do that.
Yeah, sure.
And that may vary from one person to another. But whatever that comes to your mind, believe in that idea and go out there and start that one thing.
Sure.
And then you need to believe in that. You need to be consistent doing that thing up until you get some results. So I mean, again, we are talking in a very general sense here. So it's very, very hard to get practical.
Yeah.
But you're not a victim. That's the first step.
Yeah.
The second thing is, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? And whatever it is, go start that out. If it's to start a small business, if you say like, okay, I need to go out and start something, start that. If you say, no, I need to upgrade my knowledge so that I may go out and get a job, do that. But do something. And believe that whatever you do, it will come out for something. And it will be a starting point, I think. And then on the way, I believe that you'll see a mysterious provision, carrying you out all along that journey up until you reach at the other side. This is what I believe. This is a very personal belief.
Yeah, true. So I'm just thinking about something because, like, as you were speaking, I was just thinking maybe we also need to speak to some of, not just to generalize, but to rethink, because like our sister is in problem, but I also think it's good for her to reflect and like what led me to end up being here. For example, I mean, I don't wanna, but I think it would be fair. Like, we are made in the image of God, and what God says about these things. Like, I feel like for you to end up having 2 kids without a father, and you're not even married to the father, boyfriend, girlfriend, you end up with 2 kids. I mean, like, what does being made in the image of God says to some of those things? I don't know if I'm putting this question away.
I hope I'm getting you. I mean, I think everything in this world obeys to the laws. No matter where you're from, no matter where you are in this world, so there's laws that governs everything we do. We may choose our behaviors,
Yeah.
but we don't choose the consequences of those behaviors. And I think my fellow Africans need to be very, very aware of this, and particularly our sisters. So there is consequence to whatever things we do.
Yeah.
And so this comes up with all ideas of making choices and being very cautious about the choices we all make, because whatever you do, consequences will follow.
Yeah.
And so I think that she's governed by the same laws, that she have made choices, maybe poor choices, that have led her exactly where she is now. So, and once again, the first step out is not to panic. The first step out is to be aware that you can do new choices. You can do better choices. And that starts by recognizing yourself, that you are not a victim. You might have done poor choices in the past.
Yeah.
And those choices may have produced consequences that you have to live with now and for the rest of your life. But you're not defined
By them,
by
true,
those
true, yeah.
choices.
True, yeah.
You still have a possibility to make better choices, to make new choices, and to recreate your future, if I can put it that way.
That way, yeah.
Recreate your future based on the new choices you start making it now. So I think the magic word here is to be aware that you are not a victim,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. So
and to believe that deep down.
Yeah. True.
That's the magic
Yeah.
word. Because if you think that you are a victim, you are powerless, you can't do anything, then you're right. You can't do anything. But if you believe the opposite, I'm sure that because you are created in the image of God, you can start imagine. You get it.
Yeah.
You can start imagine your way out of your situation.
Yeah.
But unless you get there, you don't have any way forward.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And so I'm this guy who believe that from the word go, if you say you are created in the image of God, that on its own says a lot, because it gives you a certain kind of relationship with your creator.
Yeah.
And I think there are certain things that you need to rethink as well. Like for example, our sister, like, she might have made most terrible choices of maybe having kids outside of marriage, all those things, and they got not only eternal consequences, but even consequences that she can see and feel right now. Then I'm to my sister, now if you know and accept that you are created in the image of God, why don't you even go back to say, what I did, I think I was operating outside God's authority and God's commandments and what God created me, the purpose now.
Sure.
I think it's also maybe important to rethink all those things and try to go out and try to ask people, how can I operate within what God created me for, which is living for Him. I think if you live for Him, chances are high that you will get a lot of things right.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not saying they won't be suffering. They will be suffering.
Totally
we know that. But I think those are some of the things that we need to rethink and say, how do we go out and ask people about what does it mean to be created in the image of God? How do we respond to that? Not only in going out and hustling, but also living our life, because some of our terrible consequences there because of understanding that we are created in the image of God. And what does that mean? How do we live in response to that? I think it's very important. Maybe do you want to say something?
Yeah, so I think that's very, very important. I don't want this conversation to turn out to be Christian.
Yes. Yeah, I also don't want to. But I think we need to be,
I think you're making an important point.
Yeah.
There is a design to life. And I think this is very, very important. There is a design to life. Life didn't just happen we didn't just happen randomly by chance or just by accident. There is a design for life. And I think it's very, very important to start life by asking that question. I mean, what is life for? And if you start by there, I think I think as you've been saying, you'll get a lot right.
Yeah.
I mean, you may end up getting a lot right.
Yeah.
And I think the problem comes when we assume either there's no design to life, or we know the design to life, that it is to discover it for ourselves, to invent it. And that's not true. That's just a lie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the first question is, I mean, what's life for?
Yeah, the purpose.
What was life designed for?
Yeah.
And then our job, our task is,
Yeah.
I mean, we ask the question, what is life for? And then when we answer that question, and then we align ourselves
Everything, yeah.
to the design of life.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And if you get that one thing right, I think
a lot can
a lot can just fit in,
yeah, true.
in that.
And I think
box.
we spent much time talking about our sister.
Yeah.
There is this guy who's
Yeah.
also, I think, the big problem, because
Yeah,
he's the one creating this
Yeah, sure,
this other problem.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to him? Because let's say we don't know why he left. Maybe it's because of I'll assume it's because of poverty. Like you feel like you don't have enough money
Yeah,
to
sure.
to take responsibility of your kids. I'm like, do I sit at home and just
Yeah.
watch these kids suffering and my girlfriend suffering? I mean, you end up maybe making these poor decisions of like, let me just vanish, let me just go. They will see for themselves. Like, what can you say to this guy?
I think same thing applies to the boys too. I think it starts by me, right? It will start by me. How do I see myself? Do I see myself as a son, a brother, a hustler? Or do I see myself, before anything else, do I see myself as an individual created in the image of God? I think this is very, very, very important. How do I see myself? Because the way I see myself has greater consequences on the choices I make
Yeah.
and on the way I approach life.
And the way you approach
And
other
the way
people.
I approach other people and situation and whatever.
Yeah.
And so it starts by that. And then believing deep inside that I am not a victim.
So, John, I mean, a lot of Africans, especially young Africans, we talk a lot. I talk a lot. but what is it that we're doing, John? Like, what is it, I and you, like, what are we doing, like, to either help our families, to help ourselves, to help Africa at large, like the communities that we're in, like, what is it that we're doing? Like,
Okay.
starting by you, I'll also
I
shame
think
what I'm busy
that's
with.
very important question.
Yeah. Practical things that we're doing.
I am a Christian, and I think it's very hard to dissociate my faith to the rest of what I do.
I love it because that's the reason why I made
Yes,
this, because
yeah,
you're a
sure,
Christian
sure.
who happens to be a CCM.
and as a Christian, there is this idea of calling. And if you may allow me to quote, so we've got this Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10, where Paul is saying to the church in Ephesus that we've been created by God and recreated in Christ Jesus for the work that God predestined us to do.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. So it all comes up to this idea of calling. Why am I here for? And I think that's important. It really varies from one person to another.
Yeah.
But I think for all of us, we must go beyond talking and start asking ourselves the question, why am I here for? What is that contribution I am capable of making?
Yeah.
What is the purpose for which I have been created for such a time like this? And I think that's very, very important question. So that's, I think, that's not a one for all time exercise. I think we need to keep thinking again and again and again and again and again about that question. And we have to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I am thinking about it. And so I think because we've been created by God, God will call us to different things. So I think I think when it comes for me, part of my calling, I think, is to have this conversation with you. Kind of reminding people that we are created in the image of God, and because of that, we have potential. And it is our responsibility to make sure that we make the best use of that potential. So that is part of my calling, I think. But outside of that, I think I'm considering going to the ministry, and it's something very exciting. So and why I'm going there, I think is important. I'm not going there to have a name for myself. I'm going there to actually have a platform where you can have this conversation on a very deeper level. So I'm not just going there because becoming a minister, this prestige and whatever. But I'm hoping that in going there, I'll have an opportunity and a platform where we can have this conversation and talk, have the chance to speak to the Africans, and particularly to African youth. So so I think that's part of the reason why I want to go there.
I think for me, it's also more about challenging other, not only young people, but almost everyone.
I mean, I'm pretty interested in young people, so
just to challenge people like the time we spend. I think that the time we spend is a true reflection of what we're trying to achieve.
So I think coming from Congo to be in South Africa and having the privilege of talking to people from various settings. I've met you from Zimbabwe, I've met the guys from Mozambique, from Cameroon, from whatever. We Africans, I think, love so much the complaint.
True. We don't want to do things. We just want to complain. So
I think at some point we have to stop that. I mean,
do something.
We are not saving anyone by keeping complaining.
True.
I am like, we have to go outside there and start something.
Yes. So that.
I mean, just do something.
That excites me. Like, especially most people. I've tried to a lot of people, and most of them, I've seen in them they're afraid of failure.
Sure.
I've failed. I've tried and failed. So I started a garden service company. We failed. We failed.
That's
we failed. And it's so exciting because I'm still alive after failing. And I'm still trying again. So I think, like, to our sister that we said she's struggling, and to our brother, we don't know if he will hear this. He's hiding from his kid. I mean, he can still try something, go back to the kids. Because I've tried something. I'm busy working on another project now called AfroSafe. It's not I'm not advertising it.
It's not bad to advertise what you're doing.
Not now, anyway. but I'm still working on AfroSafe, which is an online marketplace.
Which is an exciting project.
It's an exciting one.
It's very, very good.
It might even fail, but I'll try again.
I mean, yes. And I think that's the mindset we have to develop.
I'll try again.
Just try something.
Just try something.
Whatever that thing is. Don't just sit there complaining.
And I think the other thing, like, people don't want to ask questions. Like, go out and ask. Go on YouTube, search videos, go online, read. If you can read. And the other thing that reminds me, if you can read, if you can, like, please just ask a friend. Like, they will unpack other stuff. Like, if you find, because I know that a lot of stuff on YouTube is maybe in English, French, or other languages.
Yes, Swahili, you've got stuff in
Swahili, Chikalanga, and all those things. But if you can, if you feel those things are not accessible to you, I mean, it's good, because I can speak Chikalanga. I can listen to a YouTube video in English. What about my sister, if she can maybe understand English very well? She can come to me and say, hey, bro, I need a certain content about this topic. I can go maybe find that thing in English and maybe break it down or simplify it to her, and then she can use that knowledge. Somebody in DRC, they struggle with the same thing they apply, Kiswahili, whatever. But because some people are like, I can't go on YouTube because they do stuff in English. So we complain a lot, but we don't try something. Like, there are there are massive opportunities out there. There are people who've been willing to help, but we don't go to them.
Sure.
But I'm not saying we're expert, but we can do what we can to help.
And I think this is important. And I think that's the only message. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be well thought. You just need to start.
Just start and
that's
see.
Period. So if you've got an idea, go out there and start it. That's so there's no this Just start it and then see the result. And I think that's what you have to do.
Yeah, I think we just need to close. I think this reminds me of what Jack Ma said, the Alibaba guy.
Yeah, sure.
He said, in Africa, we are so privileged because like we've got nothing to lose. We can try and fail. What is it that are you gonna lose? Nothing.
Yeah, sure.
Like you've got nothing to lose, so try and fail.
Sure, try it anyway.
Then you learn.
Yeah, try.
Then you
I
try
think
again.
it's very important. Try.
Yeah, try.
So go out there and start something.
Let's try. John,
Good.
thank you so much for doing this.
I'm excited about the
It's
project. I hope it will start soon, and then we'll be able to export it to DRC.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I know you want.
It's
to
an African thing, so it will go out to
hope-
DRC and you'll be the first
I hope it will come.
to know about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.